Well, hello everybody. It's Monday and I'm just about a half an hour from the midnight deadline. So I've been kind of late on Mondays getting a video up, but it really doesn't matter. I don't have much of an audience anyway. So if you're seeing this, congratulations, you made it. Like, subscribe, and put on your notification, or else you'll probably never see me again because YouTube hates me. Today I'm going to talk about Cole Thomas Allen and kind of the failures of California academia. My channel is about Christianity, feminism, liberalism in general, and how I'm dealing with it in a society that is dominated by all three. So, I am a supporter of Donald Trump. I'm a fan. I'm happy about the war. I think it's a high time that we have the Iranians in line, and it looks like things are going well, and I trust the president will come up with a deal that is satisfactory eventually. I have the camera angle a little bit different, a little bit farther away today. In reference to Thomas Cole, we're not Great Britain, so when we have a terrible crime happen, our media will tell us who the name of the person is who did the crime pretty close around the time that the crime happened. And when I saw Cole Thomas Allen, I immediately thought, okay, the reason why they don't do it in Great Britain is because they don't want their citizens to make any snap judgments about immigrant crime. But the United States is pretty good about it. But we had a name before we had a picture. And when I saw Cole Thomas Allen, I thought, that's a white guy name, right? Don't freak out, YouTube. I'm not being racist. I'm just making observations, just general observations about the little that we know about this guy. I went to school with a Cole. I went to an all white school all through high school. I lived in Eastern Montana. There are no minorities in Eastern Montana, or there were no minorities in Eastern Montana in the early 80s. I think that Cole was in my sister's class, so a couple of years younger. I think his brother was in my class. It was a very small town. But so when I saw Cole, I thought of that as a white guy name. But then I looked at his name, and Thomas is misspelled. So that kind of gave me the first inkling that it might not be a white guy. The reason why it matters is because people bring up when there's a terrible crime that a white guy does, then we really get hammered. My race, my Caucasian status, we all sort of get hammered for committing violent crimes. But I saw that as Thomas was missing the H. And so that led me to believe that there could be some, just maybe some flavor, let's say flavor, in the bloodline. And then I saw his picture and I found out that, yes, he's light-skinned. I imagine that he is from a biracial family. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the parents make any commentary or anything like that. But I think at least one of his parents, I mean, I'm just making assumptions here. One of his parents has got to be White. I've heard him speak on videos, and there's no ebonics in his manner of speaking. He has a very good command of the English language, and I don't have any problem with interracial marriages. There's a interracial marriage in my family. My Aunt Diane married Uncle Ndugu back in the 70s or something. Of course, it was a quick divorce. It was mostly to horrify her traditionalist father in an attempt to rule over the patriarchy. But I don't know if you're familiar with Thomas Cole. If you look here, you can't see them very well, but this is a series of 5 paintings by Thomas Cole. And they're just kind of shoddily put up on my wall there. But this is the course of an empire, or the course of empire. It starts out with the kind of the virgin landscape, and then there's there's a picture of maybe a temple, and they're doing math, scratching it out on the ground. Maybe there's a herd, and then it's a budding metropolis, and then there's a war, and then at the very bottom you see nature taking it back over. It's a very I couldn't just pick one of the 5. I had to buy all 5 of those. I really like that painting for some reason, because it kind of I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think of that series. It's a pretty famous series by Thomas Cole. His name, Thomas, is, of course, spelled with the H. What I wanted to talk about in this video has to do with academia. The liberal takeover of academia. Like, you can have a very bright young mind, and we want to encourage bright kids to be curious and get good grades and be successful in school. But something happened in the 60s, and it was really kind of hardlined in the 70s, where academia and law were both challenged by this woke mind virus. I asked Google where patient 0 would have been as far as a woke mind virus thought experiment, and they specifically said the University of Wisconsin, which was kind of an odd surprise to me. I didn't expect that, but this critical law theory, this is where they came up with this systemic racism and equity in things like that were then kind of forwarded onto the Ivy Leagues and then trickled down into everywhere. But there's one particular college that is a very close tie to my own family. It was made in a place called Cooper's Point in, I don't know, it's outside of Olympia somewhere. And what they decided was that they wanted to fund a school that said, we don't care about grades. You don't have to do homework. Our teachers will just evaluate you and see if you're doing a good job. And it's very, I don't know what they're doing, it's the 60s. Maybe they're barefoot on the ground, like when this first started. Um, um, this is when they were really trying to throw out traditional education, which Montana is very far behind a lot of times. And that's where I went to school at. I went to school in eastern Montana, and then I'm still west of the Divide when I went to high school, or east of the Divide in high school. But anyway, we didn't get that. I learned how to diagram sentences. I learned how to, I took French. We learned about history and civics, and this was in the 80s. Jimmy Carter had made some changes in education, but that was before I got into school. I didn't get into school until the 80s. So even though there was this push for liberal, I don't know, there's a word, I don't know the word. It's a word about like a different sort of approach to teaching and learning. But that sort of teaching and learning will, and I do know a teacher in California, getting back to Thomas Cole, and it just sounds like herding monkeys. Just a very chaotic learning environment. There's nothing but Ebonics spoken. They're not teaching them grammar. There's no teacher. My teachers had a red pen. My teachers had a red pen, and if you use the wrong verb conjugation, they would mark it with a red pen and say that's wrong, because they wanted us to learn the English language. Anyway, despite all of this, the young Thomas Cole went to school in Torrance, California, and he was Cal Poly? I think he went to a technical, like Caltech, Cal Poly. I don't know. These are like top schools. He's a very bright young man, and I saw him do a video. I think I already said that he has a good command of the English language. But I can't help but I can't help but feel bad for him, even though I'm a Trump supporter, and I'm also a non-Christian. Some people might say I'm anti-Christian. So I mean, I agree with him. Look, if you are an intellectual thinker, it's very, very, very difficult for you to get an intellectual thinker to believe in human reanimation and virgin births and the first man and woman is, not even 6,000 years ago. It's very hard. You can teach all the technical sciences or computer sciences or whatever they're teaching him, but you can't make a thinking, rational person believe that. You have to believe that because your parents believe that. I mean, if you got the joy in your heart, or however the song goes at Sunday school. It's hard for a thinking person to to buy this story. So, and it's hard also. I mean, you can take or leave the church, but this is what I've been saying all along, which is that you can't get away with how Christianity has affected society. And Donald Trump, and I don't think that we know that he was trying to kill Donald Trump either, but he was going into a place where, I mean, there was a lot of Christians. We know Hagseth is a Christian, and he was there. I don't know what he was rebelling against. I don't consider a male to be an adult until he turns 30, and that goes for any amount of education. No education can make a man be an adult until he's 30. He's still a kid trying to manage his own testosterone. They're difficult to manage. They're hard to pin down. There's things going on with their hormones and with their they're daring. They'll jump off of things, or they got a lot going on with themselves until they turn 30. Usually after 30 they're able to calm down a little bit. But I think that evidently this president or this administration or the liberals not being in power bothers him. And the White House Correspondence Dinner would have been an easy target to get to a lot of people, even some liberals, but and we don't know. I saw the 60 Minutes interview that Trump did with CBS, but I guess there's a manifesto. I haven't read it. I just saw some excerpts from it. All of California thinks that Donald Trump raped somebody, held her down or raped her. And E. Jean Carroll proves it, which was such a weak case. I'm a female. I don't like rape. I'm against it. I've never been a fan. If he raped somebody, that would change my opinion of him. But if you look at the case objectively, it's a very weak case. And to have that man be president bothers people. What I'm saying is that the intelligence that he has, obviously, it was outweighed tremendously by the liberal indoctrination that we saw that, is prevalent in California. So I think that we can, I wish someday somebody would sue places like California, schools like, it doesn't even have to be California. It could be, any of these schools that indoctrinate their children like that should be able to sue. I think and black people, okay, don't get mad, YouTube. A lot of times you see black people that are looking for a lawsuit. Look for the one, the person that is black and speaks Ebonics and doesn't have a good handle on the English language and now cannot maybe get a job in the teachers are allowing them to speak in a ghetto way. They can't conjugate their verbs. It's a lot of wit and that, and they're speaking as if they can't spell, which limits them to the ghetto for the rest of their lives. They don't have to be Harris Faulkner, but they should be able to depend on their teachers to correct their grammar and things like that. And I'm getting off track. I know I'm getting off track, but the liberal indoctrination. The point is that the liberal indoctrination overrode his intelligence and his, he could have had a successful career. I don't think he should have been teaching children. Not if he's that indoctrinated. Not if he's that mad at the government. I had liberal teachers. My speech and drama coach was a definite liberal, Mr. Terrio. But it didn't. He wasn't pushing that on us. You could barely even tell. Teachers, when I went to school, they didn't. None of their politics were obvious, and I think that's important. And like if I was going to be like, let's say I'm a lawyer, I would love to take a case of Cole Thomas Allen, and just put together a lawsuit for the schools that made him this bothered. He spent from 5 years old, 31 minus 5, so that's 26, minus 12 is 14, I'm saying most of his life, he's just been inundated and indoctrinated with all this anti-government and anti-common sense propaganda. And I guess that's all I wanted to say, that we need to eliminate liberal propaganda from all of the schools. I had a little discussion with Google Gemini last night. I guess there's some schools, even here in Flagstaff, which shocked me. I thought everybody in Flagstaff, except for me, was a very liberal Democrat. But there's a conservative, traditionalist school here. I don't think it's a public school. I don't think the Flagstaff proper public would fund it. But there's a school where people are diagramming sentences and people are correctly spelling things and people are conjugating verbs. These are important skills that far outweigh critical race theory, gender studies, and Orange Man Bad. We can't keep doing this to people, and I do think that California takes some responsibility. They don't take responsibility, but they are responsible. So, I guess that's all for now. I just want to do a quick video. I wasn't here Friday for moms. I need to do a video about my mother, which kind of ties in feminism and Christianity and the patriarchy and her dad and Evergreen School. Evergreen School we'll talk about later. We'll talk about Uncle Ndugu later. Right, Aunt Diane? Right. Okay. So we'll get to that another time. If you made it this far, thanks a lot. Like and subscribe, and remember to hit the notification, because YouTube fucking hates me. Have a good one, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.